Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with the Pricing Lady. I'm Janine, your hostess. This show is all about helping you get better prices in your business. Today, I have special guest, Sandy Kaufmann. Welcome, Sandy.
Hi, Janine. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. Very welcome. Excited to have you here with me today. So Sandy, we're going to start with a few rapid fire questions here. The first one is, where are you calling in from today?
So I live in Zurich, but as you might hear, I am speaking French and come from Lyon, France.
Oh, excellent. Wonderful. Now, what would you call, or maybe other people call your superpower?
I love to dig and find the logic within the history and the experience of people that impact the way they behave and the way they react to experience in life. And I think I pretty much good at it.
Wow, sounds fascinating. And what's the one thing, or what's something that most people don't actually know about you?
Let's say I love iron clothes, but I hate to iron.
I think a lot of us would agree with you. Ironing clothes is not fun, but wearing freshly pressed clothes is a joy.
Yes.
Okay, one last question. So, what value ultimately do your services, in this case, bring your clients?
So basically, I help my clients to find their dream man or dream woman and build their dream relationships. So it's pretty much rewarding because I have people getting married, getting to live together. So it's quite an amazing reward for me.
Fabulous, fabulous. So all of you out there who are looking for love, Sandy might be the lady to help you with that. So I always ask this question because the value that somebody brings in their business is very much related to their pricing. So I'd like you to go back to the very beginning when you first started your business and you first had to price something. What was that like for you?
So at the very beginning, I was offering single sessions as coaching and also single session as therapy for working more into the past, the way you have learned love and the way you repeat this pattern from your past. And yes, I was offering single session and not any package.
Okay. And how did you go about pricing that?
I was rating more or less the standard price, but I was somehow frustrated because my customer, they wanted to find love. They wanted to have result. They wanted to have a good relationship and that this relationship was working. And the more I was speaking with them, the more I realized they weren't so aware to the quantity of work that was needed to get that result.
And maybe I'm making a leap here, and that meant that one session kind of wasn't enough for that, and that was where you were frustrated, or where did the frustration come in?
Yes, exactly. So I had basically two different kind of customer. I had the customer who say, oh, I am aware that my past influenced my present and the way I act in love. And they were willing to work on their past, but they were less willing to work on how do I date? Should I go and act with dating apps, or I'm afraid for dating apps? They were not willing to act on it. And on the other side, I had people coming, no, Sandy, I want to have a strategy how to find the guy. I have no problem about my past. There is nothing to do. I just want to act. And I believe that for every person, it's a mix between two. And that's why I was very frustrated.
Yeah. Okay. And so what did that mean? How far were you in your business, and what did that mean in terms of why you decided to make a change in how you were doing your pricing?
So at the beginning, I starting doing this single session, and after, let's say, 6 months, I was thinking, no, enough. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to have. I was striving to give constant result and to be also to feel confident when I was speaking with a potential client that what I will bring as a result could work for the majority of the people I would have. So after this 6 months, I decided to not longer offer single sessions and to have really a package.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you go about pricing those packages then?
So I was really thinking, okay, from the whole experience you had with the customer, what do they need? What do they need to get the result they want? And how can you ensure that they get the result they want? So I went from the value they want to get to the service I need to offer. So I really asked myself, okay, I need to do that from the past part, and they also need to work on their behavior and act on it to see the transformation. And this is how I set up my package, let's say, and make my offer.
So then it really was rooted in understanding your customer and where they were trying to go, or what value they wanted to get out of it. That is what led you to make the shift and the process that you use then for setting up your prices.
Yes, let's say I position myself more as the expert who know what do they need to get what they want. Yes.
Super. And what did that bring your business?
Actually, it went really up. I was, of course, afraid to propose first such a big package at one time, but I think I felt then confident about my ability to bring the result they were looking for, and the sales were going really up, and people were also understanding the reason why I was setting my offers. So I even had the feeling it was much more easy to sell. And I had also the other advantage that I had people that were really motivating to do the work and to invest in their love life.
That's really interesting you say that. So this afternoon, I'm giving a webinar, and I was preparing the slide deck yesterday. And one of the things, I said, what are the 5 benefits of raising your prices? One is, more money. Another one is get better quality clients. And I think that's a really valid point here, not just for you. I've seen it as well. I know other people have experienced the same thing, that when you have the right prices, if you're overpriced, then you can't raise them more successfully. You would need to lower them. That's why I say the right prices. But when you have the right prices, then you get also the right customers along with that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's excellent. So what is it that you think made the biggest difference for you as you went through making these changes?
Is to really stand up for my decision. So, because of course, during the calls, I had sometimes people telling me, yeah, but I already had a lot of coaching or a lot of therapy. Maybe I don't need the full package, and I don't want that. And to stand up really for what I offer was at the beginning, of course, not always easy. But at the end, I really see that people that had over experience in therapy, they may not need to work on the same subject because they already solved it, but it still needs this amount of session because they have other parts they didn't work on. So to be really aligned with that and to stand for what you offer, I think this was, the biggest lessons.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of us who offer, packages and things, you have a process that you go through. And if it's 5 steps, then maybe they need most of the emphasis on 3 and 4, but you should also then make sure you touch on the other ones to make sure everything else is okay there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean you take it out. It just means that what you spend the majority of your time focused on might be in, other areas in that process itself. So that's really excellent. Okay, why don't we start wrapping this up a bit? So we've got a few more rapid fire questions here. First of all, what's the one thing that people should take away from our discussion today?
I think is to be of service. Think of what your clients needs and offer them. You are the expert, so position you as an expert.
Super. That is excellent advice. Be sure to position yourself well and offer what your clients really, really need. Second question, what is the best business advice you've ever been given?
I would say your energy is your business. So as an entrepreneur, the way you feel, the status of your energy impacts much more your business than you think. So self-care should be a priority for you.
That is an excellent piece of advice. As someone who went through a burnout in the corporate world, I've always struggled myself with, not struggle, but I always am aware of what I'm doing in my business now to make sure that I don't find myself back there again. What's one business tip you'd like to give people?
It's about time management. It's really correlated to this energy. I am very focused and I can do the planning I set up for myself, but I realized that it was not always in line with my need of energy balance. That as a woman, we are cycle and we have some weeks where we don't want to do so much and so on. And I find this book from Kate Norton, Do Less.
Do Less. Ooh, excellent.
And she offers a time management based on your energy and cycle. And for me, it's really much more in line from how I work and how I can maintain my energy.
Excellent. So I'll be sure to put a link to that in the show notes for everyone so they can grab themselves a copy. I think that answers my next question. So we'll skip on to the last question, which is, how can people reach out to you if they'd like to find out more about how to work with you?
You can head up to my website, which is www.sandy, SENDY, Kaufmann, KAUFMANN.ch. And you have a lot of free resources there that you can upload for free.
Excellent. So again, I'll put that in the show notes for everyone so that they can reach out to you as well. Sandy, I want to thank you so much for being on the show with me today. It was a real pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Janine, for the opportunity and that also what you bring to entrepreneur to dare to have a fair pricing policy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you here on the show. If you're listening to us later on the podcast, thank you very much as well. If you remember, the show is all about helping you build a sustainably profitable business, and we love to have you here. If you'd like to find out more about how to do that, then head on over to thepricinglady.com and book a call with me. I'll see you later, everyone. Have a great day. And as always, enjoy pricing, everybody.